I don't know what to call the forces contrary to or against Candace Owens. I don't know what you call them. Is it the TPUSA group, the pro-anti-Charlie? I don't know. What I do is I put them into the category of incoherent, logolalia, just logorrhea, this word salad. I know we're using that word too much. It's called verbal incontinence. Just this stuff that comes out that's nothing. It's just words. It's sometimes if you ever done a website and there'll be these words to show you what columns look like. Querversum abutrique ubique. It's not even English. It's just letters. That's what this is, but in words that vaguely convey, vaguely connote, vaguely provide a trajectory of something, resistance or counter to something. You don't want to have your political motive or motivation to be vague. 2 instances, Dan Bongino and, of course, our gal, Erika Kirk. Let's talk about Dan. I don't know what this man went through. I love when people say this, I am not a psychiatrist, social worker, substance abuse person. I am not in any way versed or conversant with people who are losing their minds, people who have become detached from reality. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is this. Something happened to him. Something happened to him a way back. I'm not that familiar. I see this idea where he wants more than anything else to be perceived as a tough guy, a law enforcement dynamo, a dirty, hairy, gun-toting, hyper-masculine, super-duper, go-get-em, something or other, who I believe stands for something that I have yet to determine what it is. I mean, I'm really trying. He was, 9 months? I forget what it was, during his tenure as assistant director of the FBI, and then he quit for reasons I still don't understand. Nobody even objected. No, Dan, fine. I'm leaving. No, fine, leave. I understand. See ya. And he left Cash, of course, who, by the way, is going through his own problems with his girlfriend. That's for another issue. But by the way, just Google or X or whatever the particular search mechanism is. Check her out. This is a real winner. So anyway, for some particular reason, he came forward and everything he does is attitude, and substance plays no role whatsoever. It's attitude. By God, I'm going to be the toughest son of a gun. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to be tough. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to seethe and I'm going to fret and I'm going to pant and I'm going to suspirate and I'm going to growl. And I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying nothing, but by God, I'm going to give you an attitude, an attitudinal framework regarding a subject that is incomprehensible. I don't know what he's talking about. This is the guy who came out basically and looked at us and said, let me tell you something right now. You better not ask any questions about Epstein because I know. And I know that if you think there's anything about, if you don't believe the self-harm narrative, let me tell you something. I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you right now. I may be embellishing this a little bit, just a tad, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But that's exactly what he does. And you're wondering, Dan, take it easy. And he basically went so far as to discount the whole Epstein thing as nothing to worry about. And then the other day, when somebody nailed him at an airport or a meeting or something, the rather shell-shocked and scaredy cat Dan looked like he saw a ghost. This is a tough guy? Candace Owens has more guts, more cojones in her fingernail, in her cuticle, that this guy does in his body. He basically was trying to move along and to the untrained eye, perhaps maybe get behind somebody who might have appeared as some kind of a security personnel. But when he was referred to in a most unflattering way regarding his PDF status using YouTube speak, it's like he doesn't know what to do. And you did this, and you now signaled, you schmuck, you just signaled to the rest of the world, this is your Achilles heel. This is your sore spot. This is what will make you fold like a cheap suit or a cheap camera. Do you follow what I'm saying? Do you follow what I'm saying? Okay. That's precisely what this is. That's precisely what this is. I don't want to, I do this all the time. I keep saying nut. He's a nut. He's a nut. Well, he's a nut. When he came out, this is when I knew this guy. He just wants the bravado. He doesn't even care about the subject matter that normally would accompany the bravado. It's okay to be a tough guy. Look, if you want to be Richard Widmark or Robert Mitchum or whatever, some film noir tough guy, at least know the words of the script and explain why you're a tough guy, why you're upset. When our beloved Candace came out with her trailer for The Bride of Charlie, remember that one? The trailer of which yours truly was somewhat at least featured at one particular point. Just as an example, I'm not taking any credit. I watched it and I said, well, let's see what happens. Because it's a trailer. It's a tease. It's to invite you to watch it. See? It invites you. There's nothing really to comment on, but it says, stay tuned. Coming up. Ooh. Dan, apparently wanting to cash his check early, I guess. I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised. He came out, remember this seething, blood-curdling, you burn in hell. It was like he was passing a hockey puck or a bezoar, some hairball, like he had some gastrointestinal distress, like he was dyspeptic. He was like, push it, push, bear down, Dan, bear down. Pass it, anything, nothing. That's what he looks like. He always looks like he's about to explode. And I'm thinking, what is he talking about? Okay, fine. So maybe, he went crazy over a trailer. I think, what are you, prescient? Are you vatic? Are you pythonic? Can you read the entrails of the beast? Can you augur the future? What are you doing? What are you getting upset about? He was upset. He's like, he just wants to be mad. Dan, wait. Make sure you understand what you're upset about and then become upset. And then recently with Joe Kent, by the way, who has, I don't know what this guy has been, who in some circles, I would venture to say, has been universally considered to be a hero, a whistleblower, somebody who stood up and said, wait a minute, hold it. He's loved. He's loved. Numbnuts could have come along, Dan, and said, look, he could have maybe toned down the passing the puck grimace, this grotesque, these contortions. He might have said, listen, people disagree. Joe Kent did this. Maybe Joe Kent violated his rule. Whatever. But Joe Kent is not considered by any stretch of the imagination, especially what he's done in terms of his history. And I'm not going to compare any of these gentlemen. They've done between law enforcement and military a lot. I was a prosecutor, but I don't think that constitutes law enforcement. But still, we carried a badge. But I don't even go there. So good, thank you for your service. But Kent is just serious business. Not only that, this guy can't even read the room. He's trying to speak. I don't think he's speaking to his audience. I think he's speaking to his paymaster, because he's doing this and saying something almost like mission accomplished. So he's over there. He's out of his tree. He's out of his tree. And what's interesting about all of this, more than anything else, is that he's getting worse. We have that. Then we have another issue. This is the other one. This is Erika Kirk. Now, Erika, as we say in Sicilian, miskina. She's just like, poor thing, pobre. She has no business speaking about anything to anyone at any time for any reason. She is destarura. She's a simpleton. I don't want to keep saying she's ugly. I'm not ugly. I didn't say she's ugly. She's stupid. Ugly. What did I get to? No. I have an itch. My nose is coming. She just doesn't have it. She doesn't have the intellectual firepower, the hardwiring, any of that to handle speaking in front of people. And she thinks that she can just tap dance, and that her vision, her hat, her hair, her countenance, her visage, her pulchritude, her countenance, her essence, the vibrations of her being are so great, so overwhelming, so magnificent that her presence alone allows her to crank out words that make no sense. When she was presented with an issue, Anenton, regarding the notion of Iran or war with Iran, what would Charlie think? Look, what do you think Charlie would have said about our war with? You don't even have to tell me who the country is or what the area is. The war with. Who was Charlie in favor of war with? No one. I mean, yes, under the most extreme of circumstances, if somebody were to attack Cleveland, if some battalions and sorties of red Chinese, Visigoths were to be, makes no sense, but were to be attacked, I think he'd be against that. But going in and, regime change, did you hear anything? Have you been following, Erika? Have you been following any of what everybody's been saying, up to and including Candace? That's the whole point. Some people have suggested, not I, mind you, not I, nay, but some have suggested that maybe his anti-war status or stance was so great, so powerful, so without exception, that perhaps maybe some dark forces within that particular iteration might have done him harm. I don't know. This is how critical the issue of war and military involvement is. This is how critical all of this is. This is. Did she not understand this? Was she not in school that day? So when she's sitting there speaking before, and she says the most ridiculous comments about, I wish Charlie was here. It's like, answer the question. What do you think? What is your take? What is your take regarding this? What did you believe is the take regarding what would Charlie have said? It was absolute gibberish. This is the part that blows my mind. In fact, I had something roughly of this, some reference. I don't want to read transcripts and the like, but the video it said that somebody was asking about Charlie's feelings on the current conflict and whatever it is, and she says something to the effect of, I wish Charlie was here. I wish he was there. I mean, I want to. You can't imagine what she's saying. Something about. She says, let me see. Okay. Just a second. How do I? I'm sorry. I don't mean to do this. I'm not one of these folks who puts up videos and comments on them. Maybe I should, but I don't. But she said basically, a lot of people. I'm not gonna even do it. She basically. I should have. I apologize for that. She basically said, look, I wish Charlie was here. Charlie's not here. I miss his voice. I wish he was here. And most importantly, what Charlie was said, it's not regarding this, because we have a lot of videos of what he said, but it's about the free speech. And I want you to understand this within the context of free speech. And she said, by the way, nothing. And as I course through this at speeds, at breakneck speeds, it, by the way, with no self reverential description to me, that makes more sense. She basically said, look, I don't know what we're talking about, so I'm going to say a few sentences about free speech and move on, and you guys are great, and that's it. And we're going to move along, because I'm going to tell you right now that Charlie, I miss Charlie, and you, I don't even know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. Here's the best part. Here's the best part. She should have known, they should have known, they should have said, now listen, Erika, and by the way, the same goes for Captain Obvious here. They should have said, now listen, somebody might ask you about war with Iran or the Middle East or Israel or China or Russia or Ukraine. We have some flashcards for you, and here is what we're going to do. This is an answer that we have devised, and what we want you to do is we want you to get into the habit of telling people that you do not channel Charlie. You're not here to speak for Charlie. In fact, one of the things that you do not want people to do is speak for Charlie, because in as much as what he said then, situations change, they change daily. So consequently, what Charlie would have said pre-September the 10th may not in any way comport or comply or deal with what's happening right now, because of the protean vicissitudinal, transmogrifications and how things change. Something like that. She should have known this, but she's caught off guard. And yet again, she starts tap dancing, and she starts saying things. And maybe that doozy where, remember the other day she says, I wish Charlie was here, I miss his voice. The other day she said, if the Lord were giving Charlie the chance of being here, with his family and not traumatizing his kids, Charlie would have opted not. I mean, it was still, it wasn't just stupid. Stupid is complimentary compared to what it was. It was submental. So the point is, through this, Dan Bongino, Erika Kirk, you're seeing, my friends, a discombobulation, a complete and total free fall, an implosion of these two people who don't know what to say. And I never realized, and I never watched really Bongino to begin with, I never realized he doesn't really know what's going on. He just reacts to things. He's to two things. He's great at reaction, at this patellar kind of a wild, raucous, anger seething, but you're not sure why he's like that. He just thinks he's kind of like Erika. You think that his his strangely painted visage and his tough guy persona and whatever it is, that is, you are so happy to see him and so smitten, so overwhelmed by this raw magnanimity and this raw animal of intellectual violence that you just think, wow, isn't he great? What does he say? I don't know, but wow. Such verve, such elan, such he speaks with such a vituperative, I don't know what he's saying. What are you upset about? Remember, this is a guy who got upset over a trailer. Did I say that again? Over a trailer. That's like going to a movie to see a company get trashed. Oh, come on, you can't do this. I can't. You don't know yet. It's he gets upset over the table of contents. I mean, I don't. And I'm not the only one who realizes this. But he's emblematic of the fact that this particular group of people, this TPUSA, whoever they are, this group, they're falling apart. And Erika, she's, I don't know what to tell you. Why? They've got to stop letting her go outside. Or at least put her through some classes, maybe give her some flashcards. If they say this, if they mention Israel or Russia or rabies vaccines or Warren Harding, whatever, answer this. Don't tap dance. Don't pat it. Don't riff. Don't let that. Don't you say, you know you love me, don't you? You know you do. You're just going crazy over me. Yeah, it's me, all right. Yeah, it's me. Hey, guys. It's me. What am I saying? I don't know. That's not why you're here. You just want to see me. And when you ask questions, you give the impression that you do want me to say something, but that's not true. You just want to see me because I turn you on. Intellectually, actually, you love me. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? Weird. But I love it. Please bring us more. Please. So there you have it, my friend. Whatever the countervailing, whatever the counter force to Candace Owens is, these are two of the best. I don't know what they're talking about. And this Charlie Kirk show, have you ever seen that? Have you seen this Charlie Kirk show? Is it even on anymore? From what I've seen in it, this attempt, it is so boring. Okay? It is so boring. Take a show, suck all the life, the excitement out of it, and keep going. If whoever, I'm not even sure who, from what I've seen, who is hosting that, if you wanted to reduce teen pregnancy, have these people describe the sex act. Nobody would ever want to do it. Nobody. Because they're just boring. Without Charlie, there's nothing there. All right, my friends? And let me tell you something right now. Believe me when I'm telling you. It's over for them. It is over. And meanwhile, Candace, she's just sitting pretty.